Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose, and I'm delighted to be back sharing another video on the Cult Pens YouTube channel. One of the questions I get asked the most is, what type of journal should I keep? And whilst I can't answer that for you, I thought it might be helpful if I shared the different types of journals that I use, in the hope that you get some ideas from that, and then you can start to think about which you'd most enjoy doing. So I've got a wide selection here of all the different sorts of journals that I use. So I'm just going to go through them one by one and talk a little bit about how I use them. So this first journal here I use as my creative journal, and it's a dotted flex book. So it's a medium size, it's slightly smaller than A5, so a moleskin size. And I use this type of journal when I want to get out some creative supplies, really play on my pages, and perhaps make a few notes about things that are going on at the moment. I'll often pick a quote or a phrase, something that I want to use, which is kind of tying in with something I'm going through or changes that I want to make. And I don't use this journal every day. It's really when I've got a bit more time on my hands and say want to get out lots of art supplies. It might be paints, patterned papers, washi tapes, stickers, mixed media, fabrics, really absolutely anything goes in here. It's that chance to play, unwind, and get a few things down that are really important to me. So yeah, that's one of my favourite types of journal to keep. The next one I was going to talk about, I call a free flow journal. It's also can be called morning pages. And this is where you just write your uncensored thoughts. You don't try to make any sense of it whatsoever. You don't judge yourself, criticise anything that you're writing. You just sit down, stream of consciousness, anything which comes out is fine. For this, I'm using a Vent for Change journal, and this one again is dotted. Now, I won't show you kind of any detail of the pages in here because this tends to be my most private thoughts and, as I said, unfiltered. So these are things that I wouldn't particularly want to share with the world, but I find so useful. I do decorate my pages with either stickers, washi tape, something like that, so it feels a bit more inviting to write in, because I find it hard being confronted with just a blank page. But I just write for as long as I want on any of those days. And I do this anytime I feel I've got some sort of blockage, something which is stopping me moving forwards, or something that's troubling me, and I just want to write about it and get it out of my head. And I often find I end up with a much better perspective on what's going on once I've done that. So again, another journal I'd highly recommend. Some people definitely do this every morning as part of their morning routine. I do it as and when I feel there's something that I need to work through. Next up, I've got my daily journal, and this is a Traveller's Company insert, and I absolutely love this type of journaling. And these are undated, but if you fill it out every week, it will last you probably just over 6 months. And you have space on the left for each day of the week, so you've got your 7 blocks there, and then gridded paper on the right. So each evening I just write down a few thoughts about things that have been going on either in my life or in the wider world, and this only takes me a couple of minutes a day. And then perhaps at the weekend, when I've got a bit more time, I'll then decorate these other pages and write a little summary of how my week has been. So again, I use all sorts of decoration. I add photos in here, little tags, and it's just a lovely summary of what's happened when I look back through this over that 6-month period. And you certainly don't need to add as much decoration as I do, but it's one of the parts of journaling that I really enjoy. and it helps to settle and calm my mind, to just take a few moments to pop down some paint on my page, use washi tapes and stickers. It doesn't have to be anything too elaborate, but just a really fun way of getting those moments documented. The next thing I was going to talk to you about is if you're feeling a little bit braver and you want to make your own journal. This is called a junk journal, and the aim of it is to use kind of papers and things that you might throw away. I've got some magazine pages in here, I've got old book pages, anything really, and you bind them together to make your own journal. I've got stained coffee dyed papers here. And then kind of the joy of this is you've already got lots of patterns and details on your background. So you're not faced with that blank page, but you can then start creating little writing spots by adding pieces of paper. Again, journaling tags, a lovely place to use lots of your stationery and art supplies to really decorate and make those pages pretty. So yeah, that's definitely one if you're feeling a little bit braver and fancy something which has just got lots of different colours and patterns already in there. So I've got 3 more journals to share with you. So this is a dotted Rhodia goal book, and these are really great for planning if you want to do a bullet journal. And so mine are always set up in a very similar way with a calendar for the month, my tasks, things I want to get done, a review at the end of the month. That's a list of all the tasks I'm hoping to work on throughout the month, a gratitude log, my habit tracker for the month, my Be Proud pages where I try and write down something I'm proud of myself for every day, 1 line a day of the main things that happened. I've got a mood tracker in there. I've got other calendars for other projects I'm working on, and then my weekly plans and my daily plans. So a really good way of staying on track if you've got lots that you need to do or lots that you want to do. A really lovely way to be able to plan those things out and keep a record of it in your journal. Next, if you're somebody who's more into expressing yourself through colour and mediums, perhaps textures, rather than lots of writing, you could consider something like an art journal. So this tends to be, say, far more about the colours and mediums you use on your page. A great time to get out lots of art supplies, get really messy. You might do some writing like I have underneath here and then hide it. But I often just add quotes in here. So sometimes my writing is hidden underneath, but a lovely way again of expressing yourself in a journal but through art journaling rather than lots of writing. So I hope again that gives you a feel for a kind of different style of journal that you could consider. And finally, this one is a Midori MD gridded notebook, and I use this really for collage journaling on the whole. So again, where I want to play with lots of pretty papers, patterns, maybe I don't have lots I want to write about, but I'll just add a quick summary at the bottom. But perhaps when I'm really in the mood for still getting creative, but I just want to get out some papers and glue, and perhaps with a little bit of stamping or something else as well. So a really fun way to document your life, but without any pressure to add lots and lots of writing. So I know that's lots of journals. As I said, I don't use them all every day by any means. The daily journal and some form of planning is always done every day, but the rest really depends on what I'm in the mood for and what I've got time for. But I hope that helps to give you some ideas to start thinking about what kind of journaling perhaps would most appeal to you, what you feel you've got time for. Are you interested in lots of kind of stationery and art supplies and you want to use all those on your page? Do you want something more focused just on writing? There's so many different types of journals out there, and I just feel they can all be so wonderful and beneficial for helping you deal with issues and also keep some records of all those special moments in your life. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed watching this. I hope you're doing well. If you've got any questions, please do leave them down below. Well, thank you ever so much for watching. I look forward to speaking with you in another video really soon.